Welcome back. I'm your host, Kelle Sparta, transformational shaman, spiritual coach. And today is Ascend Friday, where we prove the magic is real by doing energy healings and guided meditations, and in this case, psychic readings. And so today we're going to be doing a spiritual evolution energy review reading, which is also shorterly known as a Seer reading. And so Jeremy has come onto the program to get his reading done. Thank you for coming on the show, Jeremy. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
And so before we get started, I'm going to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to rate and review. And if you do a review, please send it in to me so that I can see that you did it. Thank you so much. And we're really getting going on these. I'm really happy about how these are going and how excited people are about them. So thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate it. All right. So let's get into your reading, Jeremy. All right. So do I have permission to enter your energy field for the purposes of this reading?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Give me one moment and I'll be right there. So we talked a little bit before the call about you having come in through Josh. I'm looking at the area outside of your energy field. Are you one of the paranormal investigators that he works with?
No. Mm-mm.
No, that's very interesting because there's a whole bunch of crap surrounding your field energetically. Let's see here. Yeah, it's interesting because they're all sort of at a distance, but they're all circling you. So, do you know why that would be? I mean, are you doing healing work or, participating in anything that has a situation where entities might be circling you?
I mean, just my own personal internal work that I've been doing. I haven't been doing anything with anybody else.
Yeah, no, but that I'm not talking about other
Mm.
people. I'm talking about entities. So,
Oh, not that I know of.
okay. So, whatever it is that you're doing, you're getting noticed. And so here's the thing that happens when we step into our spiritual work on the astral, we brighten, right? So if you think about the astral, the average person on the astral sort of shows up as a shadowy figure on the astral. And when you start to awaken and do your own spiritual work, you brighten up on the astral and you become more visible and more solid on the astral. Okay. And that can draw attention of both, things that can help you and things that can hurt you, right? And you become more real there, right? So as you become more visible and things start to surround you like this, it becomes more and more important to have protections on your home and the ability to shield yourself. Do you have knowledge about that stuff?
Not firsthand, no.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the short answer that I'm going to give you from my end is welcome to the woo. We'll teach you that stuff. But you've got stuff paying attention and not everything is great. So I would definitely get some protections up on your house, whether you do it yourself and learn how to do it with Welcome to the Woo, or whether you hire somebody to do it. And, there are people you can do that with. But you definitely want to get some protections up and you want to get some shields up because they're staying away from you for the moment, but they are circling you. So it is for the moment, not forever, right? So
Mhm.
something is keeping them back for the moment, but I would definitely get your own protections in place. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm going to come into your aura now. So if you do have any sort of protections on your aura, then just put a little permission for me to come in today. And fair warning, I've been told I tickle. So, okay, here we go. It's interesting. So it's not unusual for me to come into somebody's aura and feel like I'm underwater. But in this case, I feel like there's water 2/3 of the way up your aura, and that, I sort of fell into the water and then came up and surfaced. And I'm on this, like, it's a pretty beachscape sort of area, but I'm treading water. Right? Does that so my experience when I come into your aura is sort of like your experience in life right now. Like there's this beautiful thing, but I feel like I'm treading water. And so does that feel appropriate? Yeah, I can't hear you.
It does feel, can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. It does, yeah, it feels appropriate for
Okay.
how I feel in general.
Okay. So,
Like I'm in a good place, but still just like treading water, and that's kind of, why I'm trying to find out more.
okay. So let me just see what else is going on here. Hold on. Interesting. So the other sense that I get is that there's this fear of the sharks nipping at your feet as you're treading water, but that the sharks are completely an illusion. So this feels like hypervigilance, where you're like always waiting for the other shoe to drop, sort of thing. And it's I would highly recommend looking up a vagus nerve reset on Google.
In Vegas.
VAGUS.
Okay.
VAGUS is the name. Vagus nerve reset. And because this feels like it is a function of a physiological being in your parasympathetic nervous system instead of your sympathetic nervous system. So being in your fight or flight mode all the time. And so fight, flight, freeze is more accurate. And that doing the vagus nerve reset regularly will help to reduce that, help pull you out of that system, and help you stop seeing the sharks at your feet that are non-existent. I mean, everybody has, things that happen in life, but it's not nearly as often as those of us with trauma responses think that it is, right? We're always like, where's it coming from next? Right.
Yeah.
And if I can't see it, it's even worse, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Let's see what else. Okay. So when I look for getting you to shore in the beautiful place, and I'm like, okay, let's swim. It's like, no, 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 I'm not allowed to be there. So there's an energy there to that. And we may see more of that as we get into your chakras individually. But it feels like a worthiness thing. And I know you've listened to the podcast, so I know you already know this, that worthiness is bullshit. And if you are everything and everything is you, then, there's nothing to be worthy of because it is you, right? So,
Mm.
but there's something in there in your energy field. Okay. So that's a chew on it sort of thing and unwind it, just like question the belief. So Byron Katie wrote a book called what's the book called? I'm about to, anyway, Byron Katie wrote a book, and in the book, she talked about the work. And if you Google the work, there are 4 questions that you can ask yourself about any belief structure that are super helpful for unwinding said belief structure. So I would highly recommend taking a look at that and doing the work on it. Okay. Okay. Loving What Is. That was the name of the book. I knew I'd get it. Brain went, okay. And now let's see here. Anything else in the aura I need to know? No. Okay. So coming up into the 7th chakra. Let me check the energy flow. Okay. Okay. Let me check the root. Okay. So your crown chakra energy flow is a on and off thing. What it feels like is it feels like when you're paying attention to it and you're intending to connect, it's open. And when you're not, it's closed. And so this is part of a energetic fetal position process, right? So anytime we feel under attack for any length of time, for a long period of time in our lives, we develop this energetic fetal position energy pattern, which is to shut down the crown and the root chakras. And that's how energy vampires are created. And so you have opened up the root chakra, and you periodically intentionally open the crown chakra, but you need to get that crown chakra open on a regular basis. So on the YouTube channel, from my YouTube channel, there's a tree meditation that you can listen to that will help you to open it and keep it open. Now you're going to have to listen, 3 or 4 times a day for 4 to 6 weeks to get the pattern to shift to a default of being open. But you're already opening it some, so it may not take as long. Basically, you need to do it as long as it takes for when you check in, it's already open, right? So once you start seeing that consistently for a week or two, you can stop doing the meditation as often. And then you can just do it when you feel threatened about something or shocked or whatever, and in which case you'll open it back up again, right? So, okay. Now, the other thing that's happening is that the energy is flowing, but it's flowing slowly. And so it feels like it's resistance, which is interesting. So the energy is flowing, but it's not flowing as fast as it could. And it's not meant to flow like super fast. It's not meant to do that. It's not like a race, but it is flowing more like molasses than like energy. And so I'm like, I want to get it flowing like energy. And so the resistance is, what is the resistance about? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, they're not telling me yet. They're saying I need to go through and see the other patterns in the rest of the chakras. So we'll put a pin in this and we'll see what it rolls out to be over time. Is it recent for you that you have started doing this work?
Oh, yeah, I would say so. In the grand scheme of things, in the last year or two.
Okay. Yeah, this should be more open than that. If you were really new to it, it might just be that it hasn't worked its way up to, where
And I mean, when I say doing work, it's, podcasts and, doing research and reading in practice. I don't know how much, I would say, you
okay.
know, other
Yeah.
than other than research.
All right. So it may just be that it's just getting opened up and it's moving slowly because it's been closed for a while. There's some resistance in here too, though. All right. We'll see what we find. We'll keep going. All right. Let's see here. Oh, okay. That could be part of it. Yeah, you are a massive natural channel. Are you aware of that?
No.
So you have the ability to channel and to do it very well, like huge amounts of energy, open ability, which means you desperately need to take a class on how to channel because you need to learn how not to channel. Okay. Because channeling is effectively possession with permission. And if you don't know how to say no to it, then you get possessed without permission. And that's not good. Okay. So you want to take a class on channeling because the very first thing you should learn in any class on channeling is how not to channel, right? Because you need to learn how to say no to whoever wants to come in because not everybody who wants to come through is going to be healthy for you, right?
Do
And then you
you
also
think that's why they're paying attention?
say that again.
At the beginning, do you think that's why they're paying attention on the
I
outside?
really do. Yeah, I really do because channeling and mediumship are also related. And so they're not the same thing. Mediumship is acting as a translator, and channeling is handing over your body and part or all of your consciousness to something to come through and speak through you. And so, but they're the same connection point, right? It's like I'm connecting to entities on the other side, in the astral, whatever, wherever we're getting them from, and bringing them through, right? So when you're doing that, there's a connection point that's similar. And so yeah, that would explain a lot of entities surrounding you is they're waiting for you to come into your fullness so that they can then communicate. And so yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. So okay, what else do we have here? So we do have a little bit of energy being shunted into your aura instead of coming in through your crown. And that's because your energy is flowing so slowly and because it closes periodically. Okay. You definitely want to open up that crown chakra because you don't want that energy overflowing into your aura. If it happens too much or too often, it can actually fritz your neurological system. So you don't want to do that. Okay. So doing the tree meditation is going to be super important for you. Okay. Let me look. Hmm. Okay. So as I check into the masculine energy, I'm feeling so you're able to do the things that the masculine energy represents in your life, meaning, form and structure and, getting, things done, putting things on a list and making a structure happen and whatever. However, what the masculine represents to you is a significant challenge. So like if this feels like your dad sucked, there's
And
something
I don't have that. No, not that memory.
that's
None of
not
my dad.
resonating
No.
for you. Okay. So there's what's happening here. What I'm seeing, let me say what I'm seeing instead of what I think it means.
I mean, he
So,
wasn't perfect. He wasn't perfect. Obviously, nobody is, but he didn't suck. I don't think. Yeah.
so what I'm seeing is that you hold a model of what it means to be a man that you don't like. Okay. There's energy around that. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. I made it mean,
Mhm.
dad, but it can be culturally related. It can be parent. It can be, an influential male in your life. But the model that you hold of what it means to be a man is not a positive model. Okay. And that is forming a significant challenge in your life since you are male presenting. Right. And so there is work to be done around finding a model that for masculinity that you can buy into and find healthy for yourself. Okay? That's the there's there so the it's really locked up around that. Okay? So that's the piece that I see for you and there's a need to redefine masculinity for yourself. Okay, that's what it comes down to, is to say, this is what it means to be a healthy man in the world. Okay, now I'm assuming that you're identifying as man.
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yeah.
I made an assumption, but based on what I was seeing, it felt like it's the right assumption because for a woman, it wouldn't be as bad for that. And so, there's you may want to look into doing some men's groups, some spiritual men's groups, or, doing some work around interviewing men who are in your mind healthy and talking to them about how they see themselves and what it is that they do, or just, watch them and go, these are the things that I think are really healthy about them. And let me build that into my model. Right. So that you're at that stage where defining that is super important for you. Okay.
Hmm.
And let's see here. One more thing to check in this chakra. That's really interesting. It does not want to show me. It runs away. I've never seen that happen before. So I'm looking for mind on overdrive. I'm looking to see if that's present. And what happened was I went looking for it and then I forgot what it was. And then I went looking for it and then it ran away. And then I went chasing after it and it was like, no, 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 no. And so what that means to me, what that feels like to me, and maybe something different in your experience, but I'm going to tell you what I'm interpreting it as, is that you're trying to desperately to get out of mind on overdrive, and you're like shoving it away so hard that it's like not admitting that it exists, but it's still there. Right? It's not telling me it's not on mind on overdrive. It's telling me, no, 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 you can't see me. Right? Does that seem accurate to you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So mind on overdrive is about again, it's about that vagus nerve reset too, because we go into spin factor. It's also about assuming the worst. And so, we go into this panic spin of assuming the worst and like, oh, this could happen and that could happen. Blah, blah, blah. And so if you can't get out of that panic spin, just go to the worst scenario and go, and because I didn't do this one thing, the whole world will explode, right? And that helps your brain to go, wait, this is ridiculous, right? But ideally you would stop it before it gets out of control. But some days we do better than others. So when it gets out of control, we go to the worst, the world will explode thing. And then other days we go, nope, 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 not going down this path. What is the best thing that could happen? And we reverse that, right? We're like, well, this could happen, or this cool thing could happen. Let's go there, right? So that's a way to do that. Anything else in this chakra? No. Okay. Sixth chakra. Let's come down. Third eye. And check the transmitter. Oh, that's looking really strong. Going out, coming back, and not so much. Okay. So it doesn't actually come back. So it goes out to get the information really, really strongly, and it gets back to right about, 6 inches from your face, and then it goes, nope. So let me see what that's about, because it's not losing power. I can tell you that. Power's there really strong. So not only are you going to be a super powerful channel, you're also going to be a super powerful psychic, just so you know, once you get this stuff cleared up. Okay. What's going on here? Yeah, what's that about? It's a no permission to receive it, but let me see why. Oh, that's interesting. This is a past life issue for you. Past life, you were a powerful psychic, because we carry those things forward. And you foresaw the death of the person that you loved the most in the world, and you could do nothing to stop it. And you determined in that life that you never wanted to have that power again, and you shut it off. You were like, I can't ever do this again. I can't ever feel like I know this and can't do anything about it. And so, I'm going to remind your higher self that you can just choose not to see that one thing and not have to avoid seeing everything, right? If you can't do that one thing, great. Don't do that one thing. Just put a filter. Put a filter that says, is this going to tell me something that will wig me out and freak me out, and then I can do nothing about it? Yes, then I don't want to know. You can just put it right there, right? And that will keep you from having to filter everything. Okay. You have an interesting look on your face. How are you feeling?
I'm just soaking it in.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me see if that's everything. Yes. If you clear that, everything starts coming in hot and heavy, fast and furious, right? Okay. Let me look at the receiver. Oh, that's nice and open. Yeah, that's good. So the receiver is about your intuition. So you're picking up on the stuff around you pretty well. Yeah. So that's really, really wide open. So no problems there. Let me take a look here for issues around other things in the system here. Keeps bouncing me around among a bunch of different things here. What's going on? Oh, okay. All right. So that's why it's bouncing me around, is because it's associated with the mind on overdrive, and I'm getting that. So I'm looking at the tendency to pull the creative power out of your second chakra and think it to death, and that's associated with your mind on overdrive. So the creative process for you is activating that thing that's going on, and you're trying to think through your creative process instead of be through your creative process. And creation is a being state, not a thinking state. And so the encouragement here would be to pull the thinking out of your creative process, and that'll help you with your mind on overdrive piece. And so if if you're doing a thinking based process, like, designing a business or, building, you've got tech behind you. So tech websites or something, right?
Yeah,
I don't know what you do, but I'm looking at your background,
I
right?
do tech. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get that, but are you coding?
No,
No.
no, I'm
Okay.
more just, general system admin stuff.
Okay. So you don't have to worry about so yeah, the guys who code, ladies and guys who code, I should be more specific. The people who code tend to go into a more abstract space with their work. And so I don't see this as much with them. But for people who are in businesses and trying to create in a business structure, right? I do tend to see this pattern. The key here is to, instead of trying to think it to death for your creation, when you're creating, is to be with it and allow it to talk to you, right? So you can talk to a program or a machine or anything like you would talk to somebody else on the astral, right? You just need to relax and be with it and have it tell you what it needs instead of you trying to think through it or create it or whatever. And so, that sort of thing is what I'm talking about when I say allow the creation process to be within you rather than you try to think it to death. Okay. And that's going to help with the mind on overdrive piece. Okay. All right. So let's see here. No fear of your own power, rock and roll, which is interesting because you just cut it off, but whatever. I don't make the rules. They're just in your field. So, and then trust in the universe. Let me take a look at that. It's interesting because your trust in the universe feels sort of like a default, not an active thing, which you would think would be good. And in a lot of ways it is, but it's a low energy trust, right? So because it's sort of in this default, yeah, things work out for me, it's fine, right? But because it's in a low energy state, you're not making as much use of it as you could. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah. Mm.
Okay. So the encouragement here would be to come into a more active gratitude practice for yourself and to attribute some of that gratitude to the trust in the universe piece. Because as you come into that more actively in your system, it will activate additional energy in your field and activate additional things to be grateful for. Okay. It's not like you have to overcome a lack of trust. It's just, again, just like the energy flowing through your system, I want to activate the energy more, right? It's very low energy. So that's what I'm saying there. Okay. Anything else in this chakra? Nope. Okay. That's got me itching my third eye. That's fascinating. Okay. All right. Coming down into the throat chakra, personal expression. All right. Mouth is open, tongue is up, but not touching the roof of the mouth. So it's not like I'm doing a circular energy thing. It's just blocking anything that might come out, and there's no energy coming out. So what this feels like is like you're preparing to be speaking your truth, but you're not ready to be speaking your truth, right? So you got your mouth open, but the tongue's like, nope, 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 we're not doing that yet. Like, we got the mouth open, that's enough, right? Sort of that energy. And so it doesn't feel blocked. It feels like it's a process that you're opening and you're not quite there yet. Okay. So it feels like it's already in process, no work to do on it. Okay. Or rather, keep doing what you're doing and you'll be fine. Right. All right. So let me see what else is in here. Got a little bit of people pleasing communication going on. And it's a conflict avoidance thing. Okay. So I feel like in your personal life, this is less relevant than in your business life. But well, let me say that differently, because what I see is actually you say fuck it a lot more in your personal life, right? You get to the point where you're just like, what? And here it is, right? Whereas in your business life, you don't give yourself that permission. So that's what I'm saying. But you've definitely got the conflict avoidance thing going on. Okay. So the reminder here is that the people pleasing communication, conflict avoidance is a child pattern. Okay. It's what we do to manipulate our parents so that they don't kill us. Right. And, very real fear for a child. I'm completely dependent upon this person. If they're angry at me, I may die. Right. And so the thing to remember is that you're no longer a child and you can always leave. And when you are not speaking your truth, you have stopped relating and you're killing the relationship that you're in. Okay. And the other piece to remember is speak early, speak often, because when you don't, you do that thing. And, it's like 3 months worth of shit coming out of my mouth all at once. And I'm so pissed off. And I've gotten more pissed off because I haven't gotten it taken care of, even though I haven't said anything about it. I'm so mad at you. It's like, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, you got to say it in the moment before you have a chance to get a roll going on it, right? You want to just
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work for me. Let's talk about, no, I really need you not to do that. Or, ow, that hurt. Don't do that again. Or, I'd prefer you do something differently, right? Which you can do in a calm fashion when you don't sit on it for 3 months, right?
Yeah. No,
Right.
I've gotten way better at doing that in my personal, but not necessarily in my professional.
Ah, so I've got it backwards. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I'm pretty good at it now, or yeah, I think I'm pretty good at it now in my personal life, and that's been something I've worked on for a long time, but probably not as good as that in my professional life.
Yeah. So the thing I'm getting around that is that there's some energy of victimization that happens in your professional life where you feel trapped, where you feel
Yeah.
like you don't have the option to leave. So the encouragement there would be to be constantly floating your resume and have options, right? Because then you don't have to feel trapped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're less likely to spin that hard, right?
Hmm.
Because there's a way in which in your employment life you've handed over your power to your employer, and that you just need to take back. Okay,
Right.
that's pretty common for people who go in as employees, but it does not serve you. They encourage you to feel that way because that keeps you dependent upon them. But
Right.
it's important to hold your own power. Okay, because what we fear we manifest. And so,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you've got to pull away from that fear piece so that you can be like, I can always find another job. Here, let me flip my resume and we'll find out whether anybody bites, right?
Right.
Or and then I have options and then I can go in from a place of power and be like, not a look, I've got another offer on the table, blah, 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 blah. No,
Yeah.
just being able to go in and say, look, this isn't working for me. This is the reasons. This is my potential solution. Never bitch without a solution. And this is my proposed solution. And I feel strongly that this needs to be the case. Tell me what, let's talk about it. And then you're not going in going, yes, sucks. And from a place of fear and anger and trying to like force your power on the other person from a place of powerlessness. Right?
Right.
Anytime
Mhm.
you're righteous or feeling like you want to like prove that you've got something, you've got to take me seriously, you are doing that from a place of powerlessness. When you are fully in your power, you're going to walk into the room and be like, boom, this is what it is. Right? There's no anything. You're just totally grounded, bang. And that puts you in a power position in the conversation. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, same pattern showing up around dependence and asking permission in the workplace. Okay. Same answer. Remember, you're an adult. You're not dependent, right? no matter how much they make you think you are, right? Okay.
Right.
And then let's see. No, that's good. Okay, so I was looking at eloquence and fluid thought and seeing if you had a block there, and it said no block, but then there's no energy to it either. And it just started fading out. So it feels like it's related to that mind on overdrive piece too, right? As you've got this
Mhm.
this combination of things. So is the project that you're working on that's creative for you needing you to speak your truth in an eloquent and fluid way to get it across the finish line?
I would say yes. I would say that the project that I would refer that I'm working on is myself in this process. So in the,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
there's
if there's one thing.
so let me see how that's impacting. Hold on. Because it the energy was there and it wasn't blocked, and then there was no energy at all. So let me see
Mm.
what that's about. And now that I know what the topic is that we're talking about. Okay. All right. So what's showing up is you're doing this work and you think you've got it covered and you're thinking on thinking and thinking and all of that, and then you start to doubt yourself as you start to be like, oh, blah blah blah, and it's like, nope, 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 maybe I'm wrong, right? So that's where it's pulling all of the energy out. So when you go into a self doubt process, okay. So part of this is related to a perfectionistic streak. It's like I got to get it right, right? And if I say something and I'm wrong, what's that mean? Blah, right? So I would just say that give yourself permission to be wrong. And if you have to, give a disclaimer before you open your mouth, be like, look, I could be totally wrong about this, or I could be right this week and change my mind next week, but this is what I'm going to say. Right. And then that takes away all of that fear of screwing up.
I have a very big fear of screwing up and being wrong.
Yeah. That's the perfectionistic stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
Because that's how you establish your value is through being right. Okay. And so when you're wrong, it's like, oh, we just lost your light. Are you there?
I am here
There we go.
and
Okay.
something just rebooted everything. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. No, that's all right. I still got you, so we're
Okay.
good.
All right.
Um, so the establishing your value through being right piece is when you and this is the way the brain works, right? When you're right, it's a 50-cent deposit into the bank account with the person you're talking to. When you're wrong, it's a $50,000 withdrawal, right? In your head. Okay.
Yeah.
From the other
Mhm.
person's perspective, it's, 50 cents and 50 cents, no big deal. But from your mind, it's like, blah, right? And so there's work to do around internalizing your sense of value to avoid having that angst all the time. Okay. That's further down the path than you are right now. So you need to do some other stuff before that. We do that in the Woo Squared program. And you got to do the welcome to the Woo stuff first, which is the finding safety. You need to get to a place where you can find mental, emotional, and energetic safety before you can do the internalizing your value work. So, but that's work for you to do. Okay. And that's what's causing this connection piece to happen. Okay. So that's fifth chakra, right? Anything else? No. Okay. Coming into the heart chakra. Mm, okay. So you've definitely got a dagger of betrayal in the back of your heart here. Let me see where that's coming from. Hold on. Oh, interesting. Thought it was going to be past life, but it's not. It's feeling like you have betrayed yourself.
General
I'm
in
sorry?
my life. I said in general in my
In
life. Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of in general. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that would
amazing.
be a pretty much good representation of how I
Okay.
feel.
So this is a different energetic than what I usually see here. Let me just feel into it. Okay. So part of this is you beating yourself up over and over again over bad decisions, which is really just a resistance to change, by the way. That the more time you spend beating yourself up for the past, the less time you have to fix it, right? But we think that in beating ourselves up that we will reinforce not ever doing this again. But the fact is that the pain of doing it the first time was sufficient, right? And what we really need to do is look at it and say, okay, what did I learn from this? What can I glean from this and learn from this rather than how can I beat myself up so that I don't do it again, right? And so
And I
that's,
have done that, to
I'm
be
sorry.
fair. I have done a lot of that work and like really like tried to whatever forgive myself for and let it go. And I think I've come a long way, but I don't feel like the like that little final bit, where it's not like I think about it every day or it totally impacts, but there's like every once in a while, every whenever, few months, whatever, it just get down in it.
Yeah. So the key here isn't so much the thought pattern as the assumption. Okay. So you've done the work on the thought pattern, but there's an underlying assumption that says that I will screw myself over. Okay.
Mm.
And so it's one thing to go through and forgive yourself for the past and say, it was what it was, whatever, whatever. But you have to also remove the assumption that you're going to do it again. Right. Which is why we did the beat up process in the first place, is because we assumed that because we did it before, we'll do it again. Right. And the beat up is to try and avoid doing it again. But the assumption is that you're gonna. Right. Because otherwise you wouldn't need to beat yourself up if you didn't assume you were going to do it again. If you just assume, oh, wow, that sucked. I'm not doing that again. And then there would be no need to beat yourself up, right?
Mm.
So the underlying assumption is that I will screw this up again. Okay. Or something else, right? So the key there is to start working on your belief in your ability to make good decisions, and your belief in your ability to follow through on things, and your belief in your ability to protect yourself, and all the things that you feel you betrayed yourself around, right? So that is the piece to undo the assumption. Make sense? Okay. Okay. Anything else there? No, that's good. Okay. Let me see what else is going on here. Okay. So there is not a lot of energy flowing through your heart chakra. The underlying story inside your heart chakra is I am unlovable. Now, the way that that pattern generally comes in is because we felt unsafe to receive the love that was being given to us because it came with an obligation, or it was a transaction and it didn't feel like love, and all the stuff, and so we shut it down. And then we don't receive any love because we shut it down, and then our inner child goes, but I'm not receiving any love, so I must be unlovable. Okay, so this is an internally created dynamic, and it's as easy to unwind as it was to wind, which is you actively start opening up to receive love. Okay, and that means things like when you go out in the world and somebody holds a door for you, or they smile at you, or they get out of the way on the sidewalk for you, or they let you out in traffic. I like to do this with strangers because then the transactional thing doesn't come into play. There's no obligation that comes with it. We don't make any assumptions about anything that it has to mean anything. We can just receive love from random people, right? So if a customer service rep was kind to you, right? The person at the checkout station smiled at you. I don't care what it is, any small amount of positivity that's coming in your direction, you receive it as a gift of love. And that begins to open up your heart. Okay. And as you do more work on receiving love, this pattern will undo itself because it will be proven wrong internally. Okay. All right. All right. So, and then once you have some love coming in, you'll have more to offer out. Right. That's the other thing. Because right now it's just like there's no energy. You're just like, I got nothing. Right. So, when you start to feel that energy coming in, you will probably feel inspired to offer some out, putting money in a homeless person's cup or, whatever, right? It doesn't have to be anything big, and it probably shouldn't be anything big, right? But it gives you the opportunity to do little things in return. You hold the door for somebody else, whatever, but not because you feel like you should, but just because you feel inspired to, right? And that sort of thing. So, and those things will often result in love coming back to you too. So anybody opens the door for me, I give them a thank you, right? And they're like, "Ooh, that felt good." Like, yes, I'm acknowledging your gift and and sharing my enthusiasm for it, right? Not trying to ignore the gift or deny the gift, but to instead share the results of the gift, right? So that sort of thing happens sometimes. I tell people as they walk by, I'm like, that dress looks amazing on you, right? And they're like, thank you, right? And we both get a little yum out of it, right? But I only do it when I'm inspired, right? And you do it when you're inspired. So don't try and force it. It'll show up automatically. Okay. Or anything else in here? Hold on. Yeah, there's some grief in here. Little bit of sense of loss, but more of it's about not receiving love. Yeah, it's about that. So here's the fair warning. When you open up to receive love and you start to actually feel it fully coming in, it will squeeze out the grief from not having had it, and you'll end up crying for a while. It's like every time you feel loved, it'll cause you to cry. And that's okay. That's just the grief of not having felt it coming out. Okay. So eventually that grief goes. But for me, it was like a 2-year process. So every time I felt loved for 2 years, I would cry. It's just like,
I already cry all the time,
yeah.
so it's all right.
Yeah. So,
Cry at movies and all that. So
yeah.
just
But, and that's part of what's triggering that for you, by the way, is, the movies are triggering that, here's what it feels like to be loved. And I'm not feeling that sort of energy. Right. So, anyway. Okay. Anything else in the heart chakra? No. Okay. Coming down to the third chakra. All right. Let's look at your identity first. Okay. So I don't feel like you're hiding behind a mask or anything, but when I look at you, you're like, what I see is you're sitting down someplace and you're kind of shifting and shifting and shifting and shifting. And like you can't get comfortable. It's like you're not comfortable in your own skin sort of feeling, right? It's like I'm here, this is who I am, but I'm right? It's that sort of energy. And so, again, this goes back to the need to be right and the, finding your value and all of that, because, you know, presenting yourself as yourself when you have all of that angst and anxiety going on inside makes you kind of uncomfortable. It's kind of like, am I okay now? Am I okay now? Am I okay now? Right. It's that sort of looking for outside validation in that way. Right. And so that's not surprising. It's actually really good that I don't see a mask, because most people who feel the way that you're feeling put up a mask and they're just like, nope, I'm perfect. Everything's right. It's all good. You're okay with being like, okay.
gotten to that point.
Yeah.
I used to have a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So I can see the progress.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So the discomfort's still there, but you're not masking. So that's progress in the right direction. Okay. Let's look at the inner child. Okay, so have you seen the blow up suits of dinosaurs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so your little kid is wearing a blow up suit of a dinosaur and going, ah, ah.
I can definitely see that. Yeah.
He is having a blast. But it's also a defense mechanism for him. So he's having a great time because he likes scaring people because then he feels powerful around them. And he likes going rah because it lets him let out some of the frustration and upset that he's had in his life. And at the same time, he's like, I'm a dinosaur. It's like, I'm having fun. Look at me, I'm a dinosaur, right? It's got all of that energy to it too. So it's like it's really complex, right? But all of those things are present. And so, this feels like, I mean, it feels like a healthy expression for a child who is not feeling safe. Okay. It's a great way for him to deal with that. But it does speak to the fact that your inner child does not feel safe. And so that's going to be the key thing for you to work on, because that's also, the anxiety around being right and all of that is also fueling a sense of not feeling safe. The story about being unlovable is fueling the not feeling safe, right? It's just there's like all of this stuff around feeling safe. The we talked about the vagus nerve stuff and you being in that fight, flight, or freeze state all the time, which is a not feeling safe state, right? So this is a massive theme for you. So just be aware. Okay. Anything else? So when I talk to him, he says that you don't play enough, but then immediately the energy of no, no, I play, right? Comes up. And he's like, yeah, but not how I want you to. And so he says that, a lot of your playing is, you know, pretend or engagement and stuff that's like not physically active. And he wants to go out and stomp in mud puddles and climb trees and, do that. So
I've
he,
been hearing them.
okay. Yeah.
I, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's like, yeah, 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 he plays that way, but that's not what I want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so the encouragement is to get outside and do more there because he really wants to just like throw sticks and rocks and, skip stones across lakes and stomp in mud puddles and go hiking and, whatever. Right. So he
Right.
wants to do more of that. Okay. No, I asked him if there was anything else. He was like, no, that's good. He's like, that'd be great. Right. Okay. All right. So let's look at what else is in here. Yeah, okay. Not surprising that we're finding a not good enough block. That's pretty common. And given all the fears around your safety and security stuff, that's going to inherently create or reinforce a not good enough story. That's a complicated one to pull out, but it's there. Let's see. Okay, so so normally the block is not welcome, not wanted, not important. Okay, so at the top, you feel not welcome. When you get deeper into it, it's you're not wanted. When you get to the bottom of it, it's not important, right? But I don't see a not welcome piece of this block for you. What I see is the not wanted, not important parts, but it feels more, instead of like it's the outside world, it feels more like it's the inside world. Okay. You do project it out from time to time, but it's more of a I'm not making any space for myself in my life, right? It's like I'm doing everything for everybody else and nothing for me. I'm bottom of my own priority list, sort of thing. you know? So the answer to this one is a very simple one. It's just you reverse your priority list and put yourself at the top, and you give to everybody from your overflow instead of from your emptiness.
Which is totally against what I generally have always done. I've
Right.
always put others, others first, and but I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Because that's why you get cranky too, is because
Yeah.
you run out of energy, and then somebody asks you something, which would be fine normally if you had enough energy, but you're like, God damn it, can't you just do it yourself? Ah! And it's like, well, shit, you told me to ask you for everything, right? And on top of it, when you have this pattern, you tend to bring people into your life who are takers. And so you're like, I need something back. And they look at you like you've lost your mind, right? Because that's not your contract. Your contract is you do for them and you get to feel good about yourself. And they're like, you're violating the contract. It's not my job to do for you.
And
I
that's
pay.
been my history.
Yeah.
But I'm not currently in that kind of situation. So,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. But that would historically be the case. Yes.
Yeah.
For me. Mm.
So you're making progress, and eventually you will pull into your life people who are also healthy givers and receivers, right? And
Mhm.
so, okay, let's see here. What else? Yeah, the martyr stuff is in there, which is, sacrifice yourself on the altar of everyone else's happiness, right? That again, it's there, but it's not like hardcore. So it looks like you're pulling out of that. Not seeing too big too much. So that's good. Let's see anything else? No. Okay. They were floating some stuff in and out, but none of it was sticking, which is weird. But
Mind in overdrive.
well, what it feels like is that there are other blocks in there that are not on this level. And so when you get through this level and you get to the next one, there's going to be new blocks that are showing up there, but they're not present now. Okay. So
Knocking on the door.
yeah, they're just kind of saying, hey, we might be, next time. Okay. I'm like, okay. So, but not this time. All right. So, second chakra. Let's come down to the second chakra. Good energy flow. Feels healthy. Not seeing any active addictions or attachments. A little shame showing up, but this feels more like it's associated with that fear of being wrong thing. It's that if I'm wrong, oh, I'm ashamed, right? The energy comes up. It doesn't feel like it's an active thing, more it's like a reaction to, right? Let's see here. Your inner child is dancing around in your creativity center. So, like finger paints would be freaking awesome, right? Or, sculpting mud, right? All of it. He's super excited about the creative center. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, this looks really good. This looks really clear. So, okay, coming down into the root chakra. Okay, we looked at the energy flow before and it was slow but open. And let's see here. Fears around safety and security we know are up. We've been talking about that the whole time. So they're definitely there. Let's see here. Let's look at the friends. Did you just like clear your life of a bunch of friends?
Um, Not recently, I wouldn't say. I mean, not within the past year or so.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
because what I'm seeing is that you had a bunch of people and then they were all in a bubble and they're floating away. And this feels more like there's a few, but very few compared to what it used to be, right? And which is not unusual when you're going through a spiritual evolution process, is that there's fallow periods between friend groups because you outgrow them, right? So it kind of feels like you're in that fallow period in between. There's a few people, but not like a lot of people because it feels like you let go of a bunch, right?
I
Where,
definitely keep my circle small.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, mm, so I want to So, okay, so that's why they're showing me this. I want to talk to you about that statement. Okay. So I keep my circle small. For those of us who are givers, we do that because we only have so much energy to give away. Okay. When you reverse your priority list, your circle can be larger because you're not going to drop everything and do for somebody else every 30 seconds. Okay. Your people you're connected to are going to be healthier and they're not going to need that. They're not going to wait until they need you to drop everything because they never asked for help when they needed earlier, right? They're going to be like, "Hey, can you come over and help me with this?" And you're going to be like, I can't really today." And they're like, "Okay, I'll call one of my other friends." And they've always got enough people to be able to call that they don't have to make you drop everything. And you're going to be the person who does the same thing, right? Because you're not empty all the time, right? So that's the benefit of this. And so I'm going to encourage you to question the need to keep your circle small. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Hmm. Let's look at the feminine. Okay. So there is a need to do some work around the feminine. And so the feminine is the embodied state. Okay. You spend a lot of time up in your head. And so this is about coming into your body. And here's the thing is that when we do work with the masculine and feminine, the masculine energy is about understanding and stripping away and letting go until you become nothing, you become one with everything. The feminine path is about accepting and receiving without judgment everything until you accept, receive until you become everything and become one with everything, right? Now, the masculine path is a understanding mind-based path in the light. The feminine path is mystery. And so it's in the darkness. You cannot understand it. You can only experience it, right? And I know you've heard this before because you've listened to the podcast, but this is relevant for you. And that is because this is an experiential process and you have to stop trying to walk into it and turn the light switch on because there's no light switch in the darkness. Okay. It's all about experience. And that's an embodied state. We don't have to see and understand, we just have to experience. Okay. And so this is about stepping into your body wisdom. Okay. So if you're looking for something to study, kinesiology would be a good way to get some stuff done there. You could look into tapping, EFT, right? Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. All of these are embodied practices. Okay. The key is to feel into your body and its reaction to things, right? So your body will tell you you're in danger faster than anything else because it feels it, right? Your body will tell you whether you're excited about something or not, right? Your head may be like, I don't know how I feel. And your body be like, yeah, baby, right? And you're like trying to think about it and your body's going, right? And if you shouldn't be doing something, your body will be like, even if their mind thinks is a good idea, your body's going to be like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, do we really have to be here? Can we go home now? Right? So, does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
So, stay with your body and that'll help to open things up. Okay. All right. And then let's look at the manifestation bubble. Okay. The manifestation bubble falters a bit at the third chakra, which goes back to that worthiness thing that we were talking about in the aura, where you weren't allowed to go to the land, right? So there's some energy around that in your third chakra that's sort of slowing it down. And this is actually manifesting, interestingly, I mean, it's manifesting in your personal life, but it's also manifesting in your business life, in your professional life. So what I'm hearing is that if you clear this out, your salary will go up, not insignificantly. So yeah, you're like, yeah, that wouldn't suck, right? Yeah. But yeah, you'll find something that brings in more financial security for yourself, right? And you'll be able to get to the land, right? You won't be treading water. So yeah, it falters there, but it's going really good. It does get through the third chakra right now, so it doesn't stop, but it just like wobbles and slows down. And then the rest of the chakras are totally clear on it. So you clear this out, it's going to go woof, and there'll be a lot of energy for that. And your manifestation will be much higher. Okay. So yeah, third chakra issue for you. I see a lot more blocks than this for most people financially in the manifestations in general, not just financial, but yeah. So you're doing pretty good. All right. Doing pretty well. There's obviously stuff to work on, but that's true in any level that we're working on. And that's the case. Do you have any questions about anything?
Um, I don't think so. There's just so much
I
to that.
know. There's a reason why we do a
But
transcription
yeah,
recording is because it's
I'll be
so
watching
much.
it again
Yeah.
multiple times and yeah,
Yeah.
taking notes and whatnot. But I don't think I have any questions. This was pretty much what I thought it would be. So I'm just,
Is that good?
yes, yes, it's very good. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, very
So
happy.
you found it to be helpful.
Yeah, yeah, very helpful.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to articulate in what ways a lot better after I listen to it again.
Yeah, yeah, that tends to happen for people. So people will often listen to this, 8, 9, 10 times over the course of the next 9 months to a
Mhm.
year because, there's a lot. We've been on the
Yeah.
call for what, like almost
Oh, yeah.
2 hours, right? No,
Yeah.
hour and a half, hour and a
Wow.
half.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge amount of information in a very short period of time. So I'm not
Hmm.
surprised that you're like, so, all right, great. So unless you have any other questions, we'll call this complete.
Oh, yeah. We good.
All right. Fantastic. So thanks for listening all the way to the end, guys. We appreciate you so much. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And, remember that what you focus on expands, what you intend is what you create. And so choose wisely.